next topic that we have is about Google takes giant step toward powering blockchain-based Web3. Um, blockchain, man. I'm a little hot in here. It's blockchain everywhere, man. Blockchain is taking over the world slowly but surely.
Blockchain is the new way of life. So
yeah,
it is.
Like the way I heard about blockchain was through like right before. Well, I didn't know that they were the same things. Like I heard about Bitcoin and crypto, and then I heard about decentralized apps, where there is no server. Everybody is peer to peer. Yeah, I mean, so if you got an app, I'm the server and the client. Yeah, I mean, so like, and all of that is managed through blockchain. And that allow you to have a decentralized app because they were talking about all the security, Facebook getting hacked, Google getting hacked, all these people getting hacked. All the data is on their servers. How can we create a new internet where everything is, thinking this is Web3. So, where everything is just decentralized, where I have direct communication with you, you got direct communication with me. Anything that I share, and they were talking about this with like social media in particular. So like any file that I share, anything that I post online, you technically got to access my drive, my phone, my device to even see that stuff. So I may post it, but it's posting on my phone and I'm giving you access to it. And it's a way that you are able to pull that back because of this whole blockchain thing. Everything got a ledger, everything got a number assigned to it, similar to how we doing the coin transactions, where every coin, every dollar spent has a reference to it in this blockchain
It's
ledger.
unique.
Yeah. Everything that's done online is basically unique, and
that's the whole NFT game and how that's really taken over. So I didn't think that we would reach a point where, so the internet in itself has gone through different waves. You know what I mean? This came on where it was like closed. It was closed circuit, and then with the development of further. As things started to develop, it started to open up more. You feel what I'm saying? Where people started to be able to put their own, a lot of people be able to put their information out there. That came in that wave of the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. And then things picked back up when it came to the social media age, right? Where things started booming with that. And to some degree, how it was structured, and I think this kind of controlled how the internet was pretty much like the flow of the internet, where it went into a phase where things were a little bit more closed circuit again, or you got to have your profiles that's reserved for these type of folks, and you have these type of interactions with them. Although it be open, it's open circuit, you still have a sense of uniqueness or privacy, right? And then now with the development of social media, it's the different platforms, it got to a point where it was open. Now we're in the phase where when blockchain hit, and then all the NFTs started, but now it's becoming you're starting to see closed circuit things on the World Wide Web, which kind of changed the game because we're entering into that phase of where, that futuristic. So how they talk about on the movies, how it's in the future you have certain sectors where you got to have certain access codes or something going on that's unique to you that connects you to these folks, although it's within a public area. And that's kind of where we at with this, the blockchain and the NFT game, because now you what you're saying, people are given access to certain things, but it's on a certain device, but you got to have a certain key to be able to get into that device. It's starting to really, so you can see that there's waves that this thing is going in. I think that's why they call it Web 3.0, because, we enter into this phase where now it's all about, you're starting to have your certain congregations on the internet that are reserved for different things. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. And the fact that Google, they saying that somehow that Google is kind of positioning themselves as far as on the developer side, of course, with how Google thinks everything is kind of open source anyway, right? But now that they've I forgot the name of the company they acquired or started working with but the company that was kind of
Dapper Labs.
Yeah, Dapper Labs. They were kind of leading the charge. Like had a lot. I think they were like fourth best when it came to just like NFTs and things like that. But Google, of course, took the opportunity as any juggernaut company would and say, all right, well, we want to start working with these guys. And now that I would say sooner or later, if they haven't been acquired by Alphabet, they will be soon enough that that they start working with them. Now that Google is positioning themselves to be the leader when it comes to the blockchain. So I think it's dope, because it's starting to show that like how at one point some people they thought that the internet, like the web, was going to reach a it reached this pinnacle. You know what I mean? Like you said, everything was kind of open up. And now that we're able to have these closed circuits, now you're starting to see it's like going back into like that development stage of like, what's the next big thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. I mean, and the way they make it, we won't really see it all happening. Like,
Exactly.
If you're in the know, you'll follow it and know that it's happening. But, because of user experience and all that stuff, it'll be like magic. It's just a new app. You don't really need to know how it works, but like it's becoming to a point because it'll follow the protocols and stuff where it's like it'll be a whole new version of the web. It can't cross over to the old version of the web, so because the old version of the web follows older rules, which cause all these security problems. With everything being open to the public or publicly accessible. So it's going to have to follow this new model. I like to see it happen. I remember really getting into this, wanting to be into it because of the fact that just that whole social network idea where because one of the main things was like, if somebody had a picture of you, you posted a picture, but you wanted somebody to not have that picture, you could literally decline them from actually getting access to that picture, even if they had like a way to screen share it or something like that to take a copy of it. If they build the machine to only do certain things in certain ways, then things like screen shares won't happen. So like when I try to screen share, like I try to take a snapshot of a funny scene in a movie or something, like if I'm watching Amazon Prime or HBO on my phone, try to take a screenshot, you got DMR or DRM, the digital rights management. So like the only thing you get is a blank screen.
Yeah,
you can't that funny moment, you can't get it because it's a blank screen. So I gotta go on like YouTube because that's a public space.
Yeah,
gotta go to YouTube and get the screenshot.
Take a picture of the phone.
yeah, exactly. Because you can't get the real thing.
And we're reaching a point where it's going to be like, I was just thinking to myself. So what's interesting about that, man, is where we at right now on the internet. We got the the dark web and the deep web, where you have to have certain things in place because of how I want to say maybe deregulated is a word for it. How deregulated it is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the certain things in place so you don't mess around and get into a space where you're wide open. So you have that sense of like I won't call it privacy, but maybe like that hidden factor, if you will, like even now, right? Many people don't know that for all the web pages that you see, that's only about 5%, I think, of what's actually available on the internet, right? So many people many people don't know that. But the thing is, what's happening is that you have this like that same dichotomy. It's like it's starting to transition to where now things are moving to a space where you're having the most publicly private things, right? Like that it's widely advertised that over here we do X, Y, and Z, but you can't get access unless you have maybe for instance like when you're trying to say, for instance, you're trying to take a screenshot of like one of these funny moments or something like that on the internet, like when you're streaming something. In order for you to be able to take that screenshot, you got to have not just like pay in, but you got to have this NFT on your phone that's recognizable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's where it's like,
and it'll require them building all the things around it. Like, like right now, if iOS can't support it in the same way, Android can't support it. Windows can't support it. The operating system got to also support it. Yeah, I mean, because if you can hack it around it with the operating system, then all this code don't mean nothing. I mean, like, right. So like, I mean, the operating system will have to be like, yeah, we following Web 3.0 protocols. So whatever you tried to just do with your screen copy, with your snapshot, that just won't work. I mean, like, because the system, the main thing that runs your computer just won't allow it. Like, it's a lot of potential in it. It's going to take like maybe another 10 years. Like, this won't be till like 2030's internet. Mm-hmm. But it will be kind of crazy, because at the same time, yeah, like, it'll be good for safe spaces. Like, you have your own forum, but it'll be a decentralized internet, even more so than what we consider to be today. We could technically create our own silos, but most of the time we just store stuff on Google, store stuff on Amazon, right. Store stuff on Microsoft, on Apple and stuff like that. But when you think like 10 years in the future, all the space and storage that we have is going to be like 100x more.
Yeah, like it's going to pale in comparison. Remember we used to try to, make that thing stretch out the little floppy
for like 10 gigs.
The floppy disk that had 256
megs on it. Like now that's one album.
Right. I'm saying that's a couple pictures now. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And exactly. it makes it, the thing that was interesting about it, you remember why it makes sense that Google's making this move too, and how this represents like where we're going with like Web 3.0. Because remember they said way back when they were trying to get into opening up accounts and doing file transactions with cryptocurrencies. You know what I mean? So that just goes into the everything when it comes to opening. It just expands your mind on what actually what's possible when it comes to people who like are on the blockchain, what that actually represents and what that's going to be about. Like I noticed in the article down here, I read a little bit, which is I think it's pretty dope. It's almost at the end. It says in the third era, talking about Web 3.0, in the third era, internet following its first iteration of Web 0.0, which is defined by simple static web pages.
Yeah. And
the next page, otherwise known as Web 2.0, which is the dominant user-generated content of social media. Web 3.0 is going to open up the floodgates to decentralized networks and new methods of communication and commerce, which those last two words, I think, is what's really like the defining point. You think about with Google, and they already, when it comes to communication and commerce, you can say that from at least an internet standpoint, they are ones leading the charge, be it that they're known for their search engines. Their search engine, how powerful it is, and how they've just dominated what search is on the internet. And then two, with commerce, they make their money off of advertising, right? So, the marketing and the divvying out of information. So, with them actually jumping head on into this, it's like, I don't know, they with a lot of the issues that they've had with like the EU and stuff, I don't know. It seems like they just kind of moving full force ahead with this, because I think if no one else, of course they talk about in here, they kind of stepping on Amazon's feet with this. And I know with Microsoft, they're still trying to get a hold on it with Azure or Azure. I don't like to say Azure, that word weird to me. But Google's definitely I feel like they just, regardless of all the stuff that's happening in like the periphery, they're still moving forward. And I think they jumped into a space that's actually very similar, it's very parallel to what they already have been about, which is communication and commerce. So, yeah, man, it's pretty dope.
Yeah. It's going to be a change. It's going to be a sea change. Google's the type of company that tends to work in this space where they'll make something for the common good of society, and everybody will use it, type thing. Like, this Web 3.0 stuff isn't going to be isn't going to be Google's. It's going to be everybody's to use.
Yeah.
And Google will just reap the benefits of being one of the first companies to work with it.
Pioneers.
Get it up there. But yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just what they usually tend to do with their stuff. If they can't make no direct money on it, then they just work on the back end.